My name is EEE254 GROUP. I'm the group leader of both systems. So these are my group members.
My name is allow someone I need to speak with the
So basically we'll be talking about our project. That's the LED animation using Arduino and MATLAB. We see display pattern and alphabet using LED lights. Thank you. So I'll be stating the components used for this project. I'll be listing the Arduino, then the breadboard. This is the breadboard used for the project. Then we used the LEDs. The LEDs are used to display the patterns of the alphabet. Then also the resistors. Then we have the jump wire. So for the software, we used MATLAB software with Arduino hardware support. So it's basically just like an extension.
Yeah, I'm Ajibale. I'll be demonstrating how our project works. Then you can say any word you want, like word. Hey guys, my name is Alao Samuel and I'll be explaining how this project works. Come along with me. Alright guys, so this project, it has two parts, the hardware part and the software part. I'll be explaining the hardware part first. So this is the hardware part, this is the connection, but this is quite complicated and messy for me to explain it. So I'll just simplify it here. Alright guys, so this hardware, it is made up of 15 LEDs. They are arranged in a form of matrix. So like 3 on this side, then 3, 3, 3. It's like 3 times 5 sha. So when we are displaying it, we'll turn it upside down so that it can form the pattern. So, but if you are looking at it, you'll be wondering, is this connected in series or parallel? They are actually connected individually. Yes, I know, they are connected individually. It's not a series, it's not a parallel collection. Each LED has its own power source. Now these 15 combinations is quite complicated. Let me simplify it a little bit. Alright, so here are 2 LEDs. So what happened is the resistor is connected to the LED to limit the current that is going into it. Then the power source that is going inside the resistor is connected to a pin on the Arduino. Now for this project, you can just think of an Arduino pin as a separate battery. So the reason we made it so is, let me go back. So the reason we made it so is because, let's say I want to form letter L on the breadboard, using the light animation. So what I'll do is, all these bulbs that are here, like these 5, I'll turn them on. Then this one, I'll also turn them on. So it will give me an L pattern. Now you agree with me that for me to be able to do this, I'll have to be able to turn each of these on individually without one affecting the other. Then this one on also individually. So the reason that can be so is, each of them, they have their own separate power source. So if we do it like that, I can turn this one on and it won't affect this, it won't affect this. So just think of it like each of them are connected to separate battery, but they're actually connected to different pins on the Arduino. Just think of the pins as separate battery, for simplification purposes. Think of it like that, sha. So they are connected separately. That's the reason for the separate connection, nothing special. Because if we made it in series and parallel, if we turn on a bulb, then maybe another bulb in that line we have to turn on, or in the column or in the row, whatever. So that's just the basic of the hardware. Then there's a resistor connected to it. The purpose of the resistor is to limit the current going into the LED, so that it will not blow it. That's just it. Then all of them have a common ground. This is the ground. All of them are grounded. Then the different colors, the blue, yellow, blue, green, red, everything, indicate the positive terminals, the different pins they are connected to on the Arduino. So that's just the hardware part. It's not as complicated as it seems, and it's quite easy. So let me go to the hardware, into this everything about the hardware. Then let me explain the software to you. Now, I said each of them are connected to a separate pin. So the way it forms the letter is, it turns on some part of the matrix while it turns the remaining off. For the letter L instance that I gave, this one will turn on, while this one will turn on, this will turn on, while this 4, they will turn off. So these are the only part that will turn on. It will not be an L pattern. So let me explain how the code works, how the code makes that possible. So alright guys, before I explain the software, I want to quickly go back to something on the circuit. Now I said each of them are connected to different pins on the Arduino. Now look at this. This is connected to D4, D3, D2, A0, A1. Let me use the letter L as an example. For me to turn on the letter L for the breadboard for the Arduino hardware to display an L pattern, it has to turn all the pin here on and all the pin here on. So from D4, D3, D2, A0, A1, then A3 and A5, they have to turn on. So let me explain how the Arduino does that. Now we can see here, this is the letter L. I'll still explain everything, but just tag along with me. So the first one we have is digital write pin. What digital write pin does is it gives instruction to the pin to turn it off or to turn it on. So after write digital pin, we have bracket A. A is the object, which is Arduino that we are using. Then the second one is the pin number. You can see D2, D3, D4, D5, this is D7. Then the last one is the value assigned to it. The first one is 1 is high, Y0 is low. 1 is turn on, Y0 is turn off. That's just basically what it is. So in the L example, I said the pin letter D2, D3, D4, A0, A1, they are turn on. If you look at it, you see that D2 is 1, D3 is 1, D4 is 1, D5, this one are left alone. They are not meant to come on, they are meant to be off. So they have 0 value here. So if you now come here, you see that A1, which is meant to be on, is actually 1. Then A5, which is meant to be on, is actually 1. So the one you want to come on, you change the value to 1. Why the one you want to remain off, it will just be 0, 0, 0, 0. So that's just you just have to find the pattern for all the alphabets. Find the pattern for all the alphabets, then assign values to them. That's what gives the pattern. Okay. Then guys, let me explain the last part. The last part is if I copy this code and I want to run it, it asks me for a name or word or a sentence. Then if I type it to it, let's say ABD, and I enter it, it displays it A, B, and letter C, and letter D. Right. Okay, so you enter a word, then it prints out the word. So what makes it possible is, let's go to the beginning of the code. It says Z equals to input. The first line of the code is just telling you to enter a word. This is what makes it happen. In MATLAB, this is the syntax for collecting something from a user. So the word you want it to print, this is where it will collect it. Then the next line, gap equals to the command. This is just replacing the empty string, the empty space into a string. Let's say you want to type a sentence, there will be spacing between the words. So this converts the space into a string. Then the third line, size of what equals to length. What this actually does is your code cannot see, or the MATLAB cannot see. So what this is telling is the word this user wants to use, this is the length. To just get the length of the word. Now this is where things get interesting. It says for U equals to, what this basically does is it iterates from first element of input to last. What am I saying? Let's say I want to print the letter pray, P-R-A-Y. Let's say that's the letter I want to print. So what this will do is it will first start from the first letter of pray is P, and the first length is 1. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4 since it's fourth letter. So the first letter is A. Then it will come here. It will compare it. If the first letter of my input is the same thing as capital letter A, or it is the same thing with small letter A, then print this. This is the pattern. It will print this. But if it is not this, the first letter of pray is not A now. So it will go to the next one, which is letter B. S, if the first element of the input is equals to B. If it is equals to small letter b or capital letter B, it will print this. If it's not, then it will go down. It will continue going down until it finds that particular letter. And once it finds it, it will go up back. Print for the second letter. Once it finds the second letter, it will go back for the third letter, for the fourth letter. Any amount of letter you want to print. So it's like a loop. It's print the first letter, then the second, then the third, then the fourth. That's just basically how it works. Thank you.
My name is Adedo. So in conclusion, this project is actually very fun to do. You can play around it at home, and it can be used to display information in the billboard, and it can be used to display time in public spaces. So it can be used as Christmas trees and a lot of other uses. So thank you for watching.